Welcome back to the Coastal Distinct Podcast. It's your boy DJ KO. I'm glad you guys tuned back into the show. I have a special guest in the building for you guys today. But before we get to that, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning into the show. I'd like to thank you guys who subscribe to the show, from telling a friend to tell a friend. We're going to continue to pump this good content that we got going. We're going to continue to highlight beautiful black people in our community, and just keeping it positive. That's what we're going to keep doing. So today's special guest, she's been on the show a couple of times. Good shows, sometimes bad. I don't know.
Don't play with me.
But it was mostly good. She's very insightful when it comes to certain topics, especially the ones that we're going to discuss today. I'm going to try my best to keep it down, because I know the energy is going to get like up to the top, up to 10 right now. So I'm going to keep it low right now. That's why I'm talking so low right now, guys. This is my quiet storm voice.
So I need to be quiet.
Yeah, there we go. Our inside voice. Yeah.
Okay, cool. No problem.
Anyway, I'd like to welcome to the show Miss Jack My Vibes, Jackie. Should I say the government name? No, I ain't gonna say the
Don't
government
play with
name.
me.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show, Jackie.
What's up, you guys? How y'all doing today?
How you doing, Jackie?
I'm
You
doing
good?
Yes.
That's wonderful. You over there glowing like you had.
Always, honey.
So you know what? Always. So look, you know what? I want to congratulate you because last time you was on the show, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you even had a TikTok. I don't know if it existed. Mm-mm. But since then, I believe that was like 9 months ago. Mm-hmm. Like, and now you have damn near 100,000 followers on TikTok.
I have 125,000 followers.
125,000 followers within a 10-month span. Mm-hmm. So that means either you're doing one or two things. Either you're telling the truth or you're lying.
Don't play
I'm
with
just
me.
saying. Shout out to the liars.
Look,
Shout out to the liars.
I'm getting naked. One of those.
That's right.
That's not what it is.
How you getting naked? So look, before we even get started, for the people that never seen Jack My Vibes, all right, our Evocentric podcast, tell the people exactly where you're from.
So I'm from Hitchcock, Texas, which is Galveston County.
Okay. Hitchcock. Mm-hmm. Hey, you from the country?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought you was from Houston. I thought you was from Southport.
I live in South Park.
I didn't know you was from Hitchcock.
Well, matter of fact, I live in Sunnyside.
How long you been in Houston?
I've been in Houston for about, full time, 8 years. But, I went to TSU, so I was already there for 4 years.
Shout out TSU. Shout out TSU. Okay, you're HBCU graduate. Good job.
I thought you knew, bitch.
Oh, see, that started early. I didn't know that, so that's good. You're an HBCU graduate. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. So, being from Hitchcock, Texas, right? Did you always think that having a voice was important as a woman?
Well, I thought it was important having a voice, period, because I was raised in a very religious household. My mom wasn't religious, but my dad wasn't religious, but my mom definitely was. So, it was always, you have to do things this way. It don't matter how you feel. You don't really have a voice. So once I was able to get out on my own, I became more vocal and more opinionated.
Okay. Did that, I know most people, especially in our generation, that religious background allows individuals, I ain't say a lot, well, they kind of sort of what they call stray away, quote unquote, shout out to all the religious people. They say they stray away or they backslide. They use those terms like that. They normally backslide or they normally go opposite way because they tired of living that structured fake life.
Right. Well, the thing is, too, because I had a daddy that was wild. He ain't give a damn.
Okay. And
then I had a mom that was very structured. I was really all over the place. So I wouldn't say that because I'm probably, me and my sister, the girls, was probably the only ones who kind of strayed away because we both have kids. Well, my sister was married before she had kids, but me, myself, I haven't gotten married. I have 2 kids out of wedlock. So, but my other brothers, which I have 5, they don't have no kids except for my one brother who didn't have a child until he was married after about 2-3 years.
Okay. So speaking of that, and you just brought something to my attention. This wasn't even on my radar. Mm-hmm. What you think about that bill? That this is not even
the abortion bill.
Yeah. What you think about that?
Man, look. If anybody asks me what I should do, I'm gonna say kill it.
Oh my goodness!
I mean,
girl.
I'm just gonna say that because I mean the thing is that it's hard to even live as a single person.
Okay.
Let alone having to be able to be responsible for another
Kill
person,
it.
and with relationships being the way that they are,
Right.
they're kind of iffy. Nothing is ever like concrete.
Right.
So just to be safe and on the safe side, I
rid of
wouldn't. If you ask me what I should do, I'm just gonna tell you to
rid of
make the decision to be selfish for yourself.
And get rid of it. So speaking of that, I know in the news, of course, that I don't know if you've been paying attention to sports, but Deshaun Watson, he's been having these allegations against him. Yeah, he had 21 allegations of sexual assault towards him, right? And that's kind of on the border of like sexual assault, molestation, rape, and all that stuff. Because sexual assault is so broad.
It is.
But what do you think about that? Those women coming back after getting paid, but upset that he got a guaranteed contract, and now they're upset because he got the money, and the NFL didn't do nothing about it. Well, they trying to now, but they didn't. So the women are more. I guess they're more upset and saying, okay, he need to be punished more. He need to be indefinitely suspended.
Well, now don't get me wrong. Was this the same person who had purchased all of those girls' products and then asked her to come to his house afterwards to give him a massage?
I think, all right, so he had different situations. So he had 21 situations.
Right.
Right. So I know some of them came to his house, and some of them he went to the actual massage and got the actual massage.
Well, so the thing is that men are not taught as boys about consent.
Okay.
They're not taught to get an actual yes from the other party. And women are taught to please men.
Okay.
So he was wrong in what he did, more so because he has more power. Like, it's when it comes to, certain stuff like that, when it comes to consent, power does play a huge part in it.
Absolutely.
We know that men are stronger, right? Physically,
yeah.
And then the fact that he's a football player, financially, he's stronger, right? So my thing is that if a woman is not verbally telling you, yes, I want to do this, then you have to be caught. You have to get that out of their mouth. Now, nobody is taught to just say yes, because it's weird, right? Yes, I agree to doing this.
I don't know. Today's time, a lot of women are saying yes. It's
no, but yes, they are saying. But it's weird to just. It's so formal, right? To say yes, this is what I'm agreeing to, but. A lot of women are not mentally strong enough to say no when they're encountering a person of power. But I do also think that women should take ownership of learning how to say no.
Okay.
So, like, let's just say Harvey Weinstein. There were some women who were invited to his hotel. Now, my thing is that when you go into a hotel,
you know what's
what
going
do
on.
You expect, honey?
That's right.
Like, you have to think, and I'm not saying that he was right in doing what he did, but what I'm saying is that we have to learn how to take ownership, accountability of what we play in a situation. If you know that somebody is inviting you to a hotel at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning,
after you've been drinking, after drugs,
after taking 10 shots,
yes. Right, absolutely.
Like, we have to be smart. You know what I'm saying? I'm not condoning what they did, but once we get to the point to where we can take ownership of the part that we play in stuff, we'll start making better decisions.
That's good. So as a man, I can't really have an opinion. I could, but I can't openly say it because it's like treading real light. Because I know if I say something about I believe him or I don't believe him, I'm gonna be wrong both ways. Because
the thing is, I've been in situations to where I had sex with men and I didn't want to.
Okay.
I didn't want to. And I mean, I can be upfront and say that because I thought because I put myself in a situation that this is what is supposed to happen. Now, did I regret it? Of course. But I never put it on the man because I could have easily said, I don't want to do this.
Right.
But I chose not to. And me taking ownership of that lets me know that, just don't put yourself in those situations again.
All right. So that's good, 'cause especially this Me Too movement, too. This Me Too movement. I think this Me Too movement, now this is my opinion. Things do happen, like you said. Stuff happens and, I don't know. I can't go that deep into it, but I think some of the stuff is over analytical, and it's like over expressive, and
Yeah.
sometimes they're taking old people say they're making a mountain out of a molehill.
It can be really dangerous for men. Like, let's just say, like, you remember that guy? I don't know if he was a college student, and he was at a bar, and a girl had came to the bar, used a fake ID. Turns out, I think they didn't even have sex. They ended up making out. She ended up leaving. Turns out she was 17, or I think she might have been 16. It was one of them. But she ended up going home and confessing to her parents 2 weeks later that this is what she did. And they end up giving him time for that.
Wow.
Now they
Really?
yes, they
Wow.
did. You might have to look that up.
Yeah.
But it's a thin line. It's a thin line. And my advice to men is to be cautious, to make sure that you are assertive in how you're trying to making sure that the woman truly wants to do what you're expecting from her.
Correct.
And for women to be vocal about what they don't want.
So let me ask you this: do you think that narcissism? Because I know you big on narcissistic people. Do you think narcissism plays a role in that? For as Deshaun Watson,
like manipulating the person into doing what
he's
they
the
want
athlete.
to do?
He has the money. He has the influence. He has the power. And since I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm gonna do it anyway. And I'm gonna get away with it. Do you think that plays a role?
Well, the thing is that a lot of athletes, they possess a lot of narcissistic traits.
Nah, why you gonna say that? That's like a broad statement, though.
Okay. Well, okay. Let me say this.
Okay.
A lot of great athletes
All right.
possess a lot of narcissistic traits because of how they've been treated their entire life.
Okay.
Like, they expect to get whatever it is that they want.
Okay.
Now, does manipulation play a part? Yes, but mentally, you just have to be strong enough to stray away from that. Because
But how?
how do you stray away from manipulation?
No, like, all right, so if I'm an athlete, right? And since I was in high school, right? Star athlete, accolades, nationally recognized, go to college, and now you have these NIL deals, so they're getting paid now in college. Recognized, student body, everybody loves me. Nationally, I'm on ESPN, right? Go to NFL or NBA, I'm still recognized all my life, right? I haven't broken no rules yet.
But a lot of them do. Yeah. Even the coaches even break rules to even get them inside the school, but that's another topic for another day.
Right. But I'm saying I did all this stuff, and I get into a situation with a female, like say that's the same situation that you just expressed. We're in the same room, and this girl say rape, and I have no intention. But since I'm this star, everybody's going to say, "Oh yeah, he was narcissistic. He been this all his life." I'm not saying that's every situation, but that's most situations.
That's a lot of situations.
Yeah, because I think when it gets to the news, when it gets to the tabloids, the newspaper, that stuff is fabricated like 85%.
Absolutely. They manipulate the story, to try to gain biased opinions on it. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's just rough. It's hard. It's hard for both parties because sometimes I understand people have an agenda.
I agree.
Right? And having an agenda, that's hard because from the outside viewer or the outside listener, they might just take it all, whatever they're dealing with internally, they might just go to that side.
Well, but the thing is, too, is that, as an athlete or even an actor, anybody who is in Hollywood or at a high status, they need to learn how to protect themselves.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, you have non-disclosure.
That is true.
You have people that you can formally write you're consenting to something. And I mean, again, it's very formal, which makes it weird, right?
Right.
But I mean, because of the times that we're in and how sensitive people are and how people get so caught up in, saying that you're victim shaming, victim blaming, you have to make sure that person does not have the opportunity to claim victim.
Absolutely. You heard about the new Meg Thee Stallion album, right? She got a song on there called NDA. So basically, you talk about all the parties she went to where they had to sign NDAs. So it's a real thing, So speaking of that, speaking of Hollywood, I'm gonna call you Hollywood. I'm gonna give you first of all, I'm gonna give you kudos because you was on this. They have this card game called Tonight's Conversation, And you was a guest. You was a special guest on there because
Right.
they value your opinion. I don't know why, but they value your opinion.
Whatever. Anyway.
So, how was that? First of all, what is tonight's conversation before I get into it?
So they have different sectors of tonight's conversation.
Okay.
Like they have seasons. Like the first, because they just kind of started this season thing where
Right.
they have there's actually a subscription that you download the app for tonight's conversation. It's from Ace Metaphor, and last season it was uncut, which means that they
Raw
were
dog.
free to talk about everything, and they had like some very different opinionated people on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the show that I was on, it was relationships 101. So they asked us that we had conversations about relationships.
Okay. So, but tonight's conversation, what is it? It's a card game.
It's a pod. So he has different sectors. He has
Okay.
a poetry section. He has an area for himself where he has his own content.
Okay.
With him, where he's directly just filming his words about relationships.
Okay.
He also has tonight's conversation which he publicizes the tonight's conversation online. And then he has the conversation cards, which the conversation cards are a lot of times it's for relationships, and you kind of start these deep, in-depth conversations with your partner.
So it's like icebreakers, or what is it? Or it's like the unknown. It's like the elephant in the room type questions.
It's kind of like the elephant in the room.
Okay, so but what does that do? Is that supposed to benefit the relationship, or is it supposed to better the communication?
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to make you feel comfortable with talking about stuff that you wouldn't just normally bring up, right?
Okay.
Because normally we focus on like surface level stuff,
Right.
Because it's scary to kind of get down in the deep end.
Why is why is it scary? See, that's
I mean, because you really don't know what's gonna come from it, so people avoid it a lot of times.
What
so,
that means. So all right. So in saying that, to me, this is my opinion, but I think that if you can get deep with your partner, and we're not talking about girlfriend, boyfriend, we're talking
Right.
about somebody you've been dating for years,
Right.
Somebody that's potentially going to
If
be
you
your,
dating for years and you ain't married, that's a problem. But that's another story. Go ahead.
But sometimes it might be another issue, finances or something. But
You don't have to have your finances in order to get married. Go
well,
ahead.
sometimes
No, you don't.
This is everybody. This is for the guys that they just want everything right before they get married, all right? But they love their wife or their fiance. But anyway, I think that if you're afraid to talk about the deep issues when you're single, you're gonna be afraid to talk about it when you're married.
Well, but that's all a part of getting comfortable with your partner. My thing is that if you can open your legs or you can put your thing into somebody, then you should feel comfortable having those conversations.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's personal.
That's real though.
You can't be afraid
That's
to
real.
talk about personal shit with somebody that you're doing personal things with.
But some people might say that's old school. That's old school
I
thinking.
don't care. I mean, I don't care.
So-
Because somebody had mentioned something about, self-gratification is different from, you submitting
Right.
or doing those different things with a significant other. But to me, they all go hand in hand.
Okay.
If you can share, because to me, your vagina is special, your penis is special. Both of them mean something, right?
Absolutely.
To me. I don't know.
Well,
Everybody
to
else
the
might
person,
not care.
yeah, right. I got you.
But I mean, it all depends on how much you value it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
If you don't value it to the extent to where, you can't have those in-depth conversations like, well, how do you feel? Like, what will happen if I got pregnant? How would that look for you? Or how do you feel about marriage? Or what is your outlook on relationships? What are your boundaries? If you can't express those things to somebody, then why are you sleeping with them?
Ooh, that's heavy. You about to get a lot of people that's gonna coming at you.
Anyway, look, been there, done that.
So I want to go down. I want to go down that hole, but I'm not gonna go down it because that's in depth. Because
It's very in depth.
you had that. You said that with passion, and I wanted to go there, but I'm gonna move it on. Move the conversation on. So, by that passion that you have in these conversations, I see why you have over 100,000 followers on TikTok because a lot of people follow, and some people still believe that I ain't gonna say it's old fashioned, but some people believe in that tradition. That's the old
But the
fashioned.
thing is, my thought process is not even really traditional. Like
It's common sense.
It is.
It's common sense. It is.
It's just things that you should. I mean, it's more so about being smart, like doing things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can risk things like, oh well, you might be able to sleep with somebody on the first day, and he might be with you, but if you can wait and see if that person is even worth you even sleeping with, or they're even worth your time in general, it's a smart thing to do.
So, do you think a person should wait?
For what?
Sex.
I think people can do it. Look, let me make it very clear.
Hold on, let me put this in context, because that's a broad statement I just made. So let's say this: you've been dating, and you're of age. Of age is over 35. You're in your career.
I'm 36. I'm in my career. Yes.
Well, I'm not talking about you. Well, you can talk about yourself. That's fine. Shout out to the 36-year-olds. Yeah. Hey, look. Right. So you're 30. You're in your mid 30s. You're in your career. Right. And you're dating somebody serious. Right. One-on-one. Right. And you're serious about this individual. Do you think that holding off sex is beneficial?
I mean, yes, I do. Now, my thing is, if we were in a perfect world, I would advise women to wait until they married.
Okay.
I would. Only because...
To marry?
Let me get done.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm about to... hold on now.
I would advise women to wait until marriage with their partner. Even if you've already done it, I would advise you to wait with your partner, because studies have shown the longer you wait, the better the outcome of the marriage. The longer the marriage. Like, that's what studies have shown. That's not me just making up something, but that is what studies have shown, because you really get the time to learn a person without sex. Because a lot of times sex creates chaos and confusion. It's like blinds that are put over your eyes, which you may ignore certain things that you would normally be able to catch if you're not stuck on, well, shit, the dick good, or she giving me head the right way, but not realizing that person could be toxic, they could be manipulating you, they could be gaslighting you, they could be a narcissist, right? We can throw that out there, but you need to be on your P's and Q's when it comes to dating, because a lot of people, a lot of these marriages are not working for a reason.
Well, to what you said, can I have a opinion on that?
Go ahead.
I agree to you to a degree. I'm about to take it to church right quick.
Go ahead.
We always got to have a church session, in this podcast. So, of course, the Bible talks about fornicating before, marriage, and I believe it was Paul said it's better to marry than to burn. And also it said, what's the other scripture? It'll come back to me, but I get it. So that was a biblical text that talks about sex before marriage.
Right.
But I think that's not every situation. I think everybody has different situations and they handle things differently.
I agree. Now, my thing is, if you're not gonna wait until marriage, at least wait until y'all are exclusive.
What does that mean, though? Exclusive.
Which means that it's only y'all two sleeping together. Why would I'm not putting myself in a position where I'm trying to compete with other women. Well, her sex is better than her sex. No, we ain't doing it.
Well, I think,
but I also don't think you need to be vocalizing it either. You keep that to yourself.
What you mean?
Yes. I don't think that women need to be saying, "Oh well, I'm not going."
Shout out to the people that talk about it.
I'm going to wait until I'm in a relationship.
So hold up, because the thing is this, So you said, now this is what Jackie said. Jackie said, do not vocalize everything, right?
Yeah.
But I want to push back on that, because you guys as women, the first thing you guys say, he's not verbal enough. He doesn't talk to me, right? So if he's not verbal enough, he doesn't talk to you, and he doesn't tell you this specific thing, and now you're saying, okay, don't tell me this. So it's like a contradiction.
No, it's not, because those are when you talk about men not verbalizing or anybody not verbalizing, these things have to do with you guys.
Okay.
When it comes to me choosing not to have sex with you until we get into a relationship, that's about me.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
That is about me.
That's fair,
so I can sit here and wait, and if it's too much for you and you don't have enough self-control to wait 2, 3, 4 months, depending on how long it takes to get into a relationship.
All right, young Uchi, go ahead.
How long you waiting to get to a relationship?
Well, I think this is what I think. I think when two individuals are maturely prepared, And when I say that, chemistry is everything, right?
Yes.
When chemistry is everything. You know when you're ready to have sex
not
with
just
an individual.
chemistry, because I can have chemistry with somebody on the first night.
Hey, it might happen that way.
Not just chemistry, but compatibility.
Okay.
We have to be compatible with one another, and you're not going to be able to find out if somebody's going to be compatible to you on the first night.
You never know. Sometimes I know couples that had a one-night stand. They've been married for 30 years.
I understand that, but you're talking about the minority.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We're not talking about the majority.
Yeah, that's right.
So when we're telling people about relationships, we're not going to say, well, this can happen.
Right.
We're going to
That is true.
we're going to tell you what the highest probability is, right? So if you can at least establish that this person is worthy of your time and energy, your sex,
I like it.
then, I mean, why not? Like, why would you not want to do that?
I like that.
Instead of you sleeping with somebody on the first night, second night, 2 weeks, whatever you choose to do, and then they decide that they don't want to fuck with you like that.
Did you get to this point, or you always been like this?
Oh, no, I had to get to this point because I was buck wild. I was buck wild.
So what you mean buck wild? What does that mean?
I didn't really. So when I was younger, I always wanted to be the cool girl. I never wanted to be the girl who was clingy, who pressured a man to do something, who, didn't want to be quarrelsome and all the different stuff, which is, you shouldn't be quarrelsome to a man. But I never wanted to be looked at like I was pushing a man away.
Right.
But the thing is that if a man don't want you, it doesn't matter what you do for him.
He doesn't want you.
If he don't want you, he don't want you.
He don't want you. That's right. Even if you give it to him, he still don't want you.
No.
That's true.
Even if the sex is good. I mean, he might linger around for a little bit,
right.
about 10, 12, maybe 20 times.
20 times a long. That's a lot of situations.
It don't matter. With men it don't matter. It doesn't. They will hold on to a woman
if it's good.
For instance, Cam Newton, he had all them kids with that lady and said that he was not ready to be married.
Hey, you're right. That is true.
I'm not gonna be anybody's placeholder.
Ooh.
So if you can't wait on when I feel comfortable to feel like I can trust you enough, because chances are, if women wait long enough with a man, they'll realize that a lot of times a man is not deserving.
So what you're saying in a nutshell, this is what you're saying. This is what I'm getting out of that. You're holding men accountable.
Yeah.
Basically holding them accountable is like, okay, this is what it is. And at the same time, you're understanding truth within self.
Absolutely.
So that's the first thing you said. Self, then accountability. And once you have those two, equals to what? Longevity, marriage, what?
It possibly longevity. Look, it equals to me not wasting my time. That's what it equals to.
Well, lessons are learned through experience. So.
And I had to learn them. I had to go through a lot to learn them. But I'm thankful, that I'm still here.
That's good.
Because that depending on the
Lord.
circumstances, that it may not have been the case, but I'm here to talk about and share my story. But I know that the way that I do things now, I have so much peace. Like, right. I'm not worried about, like, do he really like me? Does he really want to be with me? Do I really satisfy him? No.
Right.
Like, I make myself available for men who show me. Like, I don't have to question it. And anytime you have to be in confusion and doubt, he's clearly showing you that if a man wants you, he gonna show you.
That is true. So let's fast forward to this, because you use a term that I like. I like this word. You said peace, right? And by you having over 100,000 followers on TikTok, that's no peace at all to me, because you're allowing people to come into your life.
I am.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for somewhat, because I disclose things that I'm okay with people knowing about. I'm okay. I've gained peace from knowing and being accountable and being okay with me doing and dealing with the things that I did in the past, and I've grown from it. So if you want to throw that in my face, by all means do you, but it don't bother me because I'm way beyond it.
So this is my question, right? My question is the responsibility that you have now. It's an indirect and a direct responsibility, right? With these amount of people that's following you, that means either you're lying or you're telling the truth. So these people will follow you no matter what. Because you're going to have your haters no matter what.
Right.
Haters want to see what you're doing from a distance.
Right.
But I'm talking about the ones that's actually listening, the ones that you have a pulpit. I call the culture this thing a pulpit, and people are listening. So Are you aware of that responsibility, and what are you doing with that responsibility?
Well, so I used to be a little bit reckless, right? Like when I first started gaining a larger following.
Okay.
Like I didn't
What you
have
mean
people.
reckless?
Like I
You're
can't.
saying crazy stuff?
It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't reckless for me, but it was reckless for other communities.
Mm.
So I had to think about how those other communities were being affected by what it was that I was talking about. So, now when I make videos, you always have to make sure you don't say,
Right.
you have to clarify, I'm not talking about all, it's just some, or a little bit,
Right.
or
Right.
a lot. You have to be very clear. And I mean, it can get very annoying and mentally stressful because you just want to be able to say stuff how you want to say it. But
Right. You can't.
again, I mean, you have to understand, like, some people tried to cancel me. I had people call my jobs, tried to get me fired. I mean, it's
Really?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I ain't going in depth in that because I was able to reel myself out of there real good, but I had to do some major apologizing.
So that's what I meant by that last term piece, because I know stuff like that happens. So have trolls, you have people that come on there just to troll you, and you have some people, you have Karens, like you have digital Karens that literally wait for you to say something out of line, and then they're gonna have a protest against you.
Yeah,
it's like, yo, this is just my opinion.
Right, and it's happened before, but when I have to understand that when you have a larger following, some of the things that you say could be deemed dangerous again for a community.
Right.
So I have to make sure that I choose my words wisely, or not even, like, there are certain things that I don't even really discuss no more because I know that I'm gonna get backlash for it because I've tried.
Right.
So now I know that, I have to stay away or word certain things in a manner to where I'm very unbiased, which is how I've gained my following. I literally have 50% women, 50% men.
What color?
What you think?
I'm asking because
obviously it's not telling me the demographic of people who follow me, but the majority of people who follow me are
black.
African American. Yeah, because I mean I have
I got you.
Pro-black on my bio.
So you're basically doing it for your community.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, because I think that our community, like we have a lot of stuff to work on. Like we can be our own worst enemy at times, and it can be very discouraging. And a lot of times even my community don't like to hear what I have to say about my community because they get offended. They feel like I'm targeting, I'm stereotyping, but I'm only calling out what it is that I see. And I think we need to work on being okay with having these uncomfortable discussions with one another so we can have growth. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of pointing fingers and blaming somebody else, and we're running in circles.
So in saying that, I like you said you saying that because the first thing that pops in my head, to whom much is given, much is required, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think, right? And this is going to be my last question because I know you got to get out of here, right? What do you think from your platform is the most important thing that you have to allude to your people, that you have to talk to your people about and bettering the situation? The most important thing as of now, because I know it changes.
Well, for the most part, it's just about learning how to be yourself. Like not really worrying about how people look at you or view you. Even like I said, I have to tailor my stuff to make sure that I don't offend other people. But I'm still myself.
Okay.
Like I'm quirky. I'm weird. I find certain things humorous that other people don't find humorous. But I just want to show, even to my students. Like I had a student write to me one time, Ms. Howard, like, you showed me that I can be cool, and still be who I am.
And weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, people like it because I'm authentic. Like you talked about, I don't know if you lying or if you telling the truth.
Absolutely.
I'm very transparent about who it is that I am. Like, I take ownership of stuff. I take accountability. I don't stray away from holding a title of I fucked up, but I grown from it.
Right.
And I'm okay with it. I don't care about the trolls. Sometimes you have to learn how to not engage with them. Again, choosing peace over trying to prove yourself. I don't have to prove myself. Either you like me or you don't. My whole page is directed behind unpopular accountability. I talk about shit that people do not want to address.
I like that. And we need more people like that. And I appreciate you for doing that because you're helping, even though you have a small piece in a puzzle,
Right.
but you're helping the people, better themselves, so we could be a better community, not just for this generation, but for the next generation. So Jackie, being a life coach, do you do classes or do you help like younger individuals or other women that
I help you. So my coaching is more geared towards younger women, especially younger single mothers, learning how to co-parent with their ex-significant other, learning how to have self-love, practice boundaries, learning how to tell people no about things, and continuously elevating themselves.
Okay, that's good. I like that. Jackie, look, I think me personally, I think this is going to be a blessing to a lot of people, especially younger women, because I think, as a community, we need to heal from a lot of stuff. And therapy is important. We need therapy, but at the same time, we need some people that's not therapists that we can talk to on a ground level that kind of understands us. Kids, they got to be real.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people are followers now. Like, you can choose to be exactly who you are. Fuck everybody else, okay?
Right.
They don't matter. Like, your comfortability, your peace matters. Not you doing what going to where the crowd is trying to lead you. That's
Right.
how a lot of us end up going astray.
Right.
And that's one of my premises behind my content.
That's beautiful. So we gonna get out of here on that one because Jackie about to cry and she about to preach at the same time.
Shut up.
So look, before we get out of here, Jackie, I want you to give your social media just in case somebody wants to get in contact with you, or like they want mentoring, or if they just want lessons on being a social media influencer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How can they reach out to you?
So they can reach out to me. My Instagram is Jack My Vibes with a Z. And then my TikTok is same thing, Jack My Vibes with a Z.
There it is. Look, guys, I'm going to tell you, this is a disclaimer. I should have said this before the show started. Jackie was trolling me. That's how she got on the show. Nah, I'm messing with you, Jackie. I love you.
He was harassing me.
Guys, look, I appreciate you guys tuning in to the Culturally Distinct. Look, make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. This is what happens. Like I said, we're going to give direct, straight, good content just for you, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your uncle, and your cousin. You dig? While we're drinking wine at the same time, right? That's fair. So, guys, make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe. One more time, Jackie, what's your information?
Jack My Vibes on every outlook with a Z.
With the Z. Jack My Vibes. Guys, Culturally Distinct, DJ KO. I love you guys.